like to welcome you here. We're very happy to see you here once again. As far as I remember, you were in Moscow in 2009.
Yeah.
So it was only once. Why is it so? Like, you didn't have any offers to come here, or it was your like you had no time, no.
Years disappeared somewhere. It's crazy that it was 7 years ago. There was already some gigs even booked here, but then something happened and promoter cancelled the gigs, and then I don't know why it takes so long, but I'm glad to be back here finally now.
And we are glad too. Okay, you brought us your new concert program with your new album, Grey Heavens, the 7th album. Since it is like your 7th album, since it's been 13 years since your first LP came out, like Spirits and August Light, and from the first demo it was like 20 years. So how could you describe the changes that the band's been through, like your maybe how you work, how you play, how you make music, how you treat your fans and your like environment? How can you describe your changes?
Musical style have changed, some people have changed along the way, and a lot have changed.
What a flow!
Concert places have been changing slowly to bigger, and maybe our music, the way of doing music is completely different than it was used to be, because in the old days it was more like having 100 band rehearsals and one gig, and nowadays it's like having one band rehearsals and 100 gigs, so it's completely opposite, and we don't anymore compose much music in the rehearsals because there's practically no time for rehearsals, I get it. All going online.
Okay, I really liked the cover of your new album. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, the author of all the artworks is Olli Lapalainen. So can you tell me what's behind the symbols on the cover, like the old moon and the young moon and the eye in the center, and what is the symbolism of that?
Some Jukka things.
Well, basically it's the circle thing, you know, of like if you want to say it like
circle of life.
Yeah, in this plainly like circle of existence, maybe in a way, because it also includes like smaller things in that, and it also has to do with like positive and negative aspects of like one's field of comprehension. And the eye, it of course is like it's a cliche, but it's a good one, because you know it's the metaphor for understanding this kind of like circling thing.
Like the daily fight with good and evil.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But it also, if you just like jump into the lyrics, you can also find that it's just not the fight between. It's more like a balance of those things, not like collision in that way.
Okay.
Black and white and day and night and living and the dead and.
Yeah, and Olli has always like really well understood things that. Like visually, he's been able to represent visually really well those things that are entangled in the lyrics and in the titles of the songs and in the whole meaning that we as a band like to say. Especially for me as a lyricist, it's really important to be able to communicate with the artist who illustrates these things, and Olli has done an amazing job with it.
So he visualizes everything you put into lyrics. So you tell him like.
I tell my ideas and we have a dialogue with this thing and then it he sends out like this. He does some stuff and he sends it to me and Marcus, and then we like.
Olli is basically like the 7th member of the band.
Oh, that's good to hear.
He's been with us since the beginning, and
yeah,
he knows what you want, right?
Yeah, he knows what he wants and we want, and he always listens to the demos of the new music and kind of like illustrates the music and illustrates the lyrics. And
so the perfect cooperation.
Yeah, in that way we are really in special situation, because not many bands are having like this kind of seventh member in the visual side.
Yeah, right. So you're treating your new album like your best work as so far. So for example, you Marcus, you said like so I'm really proud of how this album came to life. Even the previous Beyond album and tours set the bar and stakes sky high. So does that mean that with each album you make, you try to get to another level to make like you set a certain level and you need to get even higher, like.
But of course, that's what perfectionists do. And it would be stupid to say about this new album. It's okay, but it's not as good as the old one. It would be stupid to think.
Yeah, but history knows certain cases with Kiss, for example, music from the Elder.
Yeah.
Well.
But I suppose they, back in the day when they released the Elder, they might have said this is the best album we have done.
Well, but later on, but that certainly makes a pressure on you. Like you think like you have to do this. I have to pull through and make everything possible.
Yeah, it's always competing with yourself and your old stuff, and also like, of course, having the evolution in the music.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's a major thing to have, like, to inspire oneself, to aspire to be like better, to make it more substantial. The whole like music-wise, and for me, of course, lyrically also have to like take it to the next level in that way. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you get it, but at least for us, I think we've been able to do it.
Yeah. Okay, to quote the lines from the song Frontiers, I love very much. For one's no frontiers, for some just frontiers. So it's a really good life motto to be tattooed. Have you actually seen band dedicated tattoos? And what is your what do you think of this in general? Does this freak you out?
There's been many these OG signs. We've seen many OG signs tattooed to people, and it's always really cool to see. Some people want to get your logo to his skin, so it's amazing.
And I think there's nothing freaky about it. People like make tattoos out of variety of things, like what they see as important in their own personal life, and if they want to skin it, I think just go for it.
So you're real proud, okay.
Of course.
The weirdest tattoo I saw from OG was the cover artwork of Beyond, like a big tattoo here.
All over the shoulder.
Yeah.
That was something different.
So you had a hell of a year behind. You managed to not just to have shows in Europe, but also going to China, to Japan, and South Korea. So what is your biggest impression from the whole tour, and which countries and venues will you always remember as musicians?
I think the good and the bad ones equally, because have to be truthful about this. There are some venues around the world which are not the best in so many ways, and there are venues which are really, really cool, and I think the people are most important in that sense, that we've been managing to represent ourselves that way, that people have really been enjoying the shows and really have like good memories about it. And I think those kinds of reactions that you get from people who come to the shows are the ones that we remember also. Yeah. Like for example in Japan, there's a tradition in their country to bring gifts and stuff like that, and that is always so touching, that people go so much trouble like making something there, like themselves, like maybe some dolls or some like posters and stuff that, and always that kind of like reaction towards us and our music is really like touching and a really positive thing. For example, in China there was this one lady who just made these like OG dolls out of wax, and I just give it to our like members, and and that is really something special, like something to remember. Definitely.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've toured with many musicians, including Elvati, Rotten Christ, Draconian, Amorphous, and many others. With whom did you like performing the most, and with whom would you like to go on tour in the future? Your dream to tour with?
I think I like Dark Tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys
We've been
are
touring a lot with Dark Tranquility, and they are
Your tour
kind
buddies.
of like
just
touring
super
buddies.
guys.
Yeah. And it's not released yet, but that will continue again with our Swedish boys.
Okay.
So that's always fun and nice. Really good company and good musical fit and easy going.
If I would choose like one group to tour with, like preference, I think there are many, but you know, like music-wise, like for example, Soilwork would be really nice, and a couple of other acts like maybe Amon Amarth and stuff like that would be really cool.
I would definitely go to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, what are your plans for the 2017? I know that you were actually booked for the festival 70,000 tons of metal, and you, Marcus, actually is going second year in a row because you were with Insomnium there.
Yeah.
So congratulations. What is it?
It's a lot of shows coming, like Caribbeans, possibly some shows near there, and new European tour coming, and next in line is almost 2 months in USA.
Okay.
With Sonoda Arctica, and
Yeah.
at some point
Circle of life.
yeah,
It continues.
Over and over again. Okay.
never ending.
So talking about Insomnium, how do you manage to be in the both bands in the same time? Does it create some difficulties? It's creates some difficulties for you. Like,
Yeah.
do you have a life?
Can I call this life?
Is this a life?
Life and death metal.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, that's, like I said, one of the reasons why the latest album was pretty hard to manage to do, because we had a lot of gigs with Insomnium back in the day, and then all the 3 days that I had from Insomnium, we were recording the OG album and vice versa. So
Yeah, right.
everything was metal back then. I still like some 3 days. I still like my home sofa. But this double duty had made me a busy man. But that's what I always wanted to do.
Okay. Okay, as a guitarist, how often do you practice off tour to stay in shape? What advices can you give to the beginners?
It varies a lot. Sometimes I practice a lot and sometimes not. And now it's more a not period.
Okay,
But
okay.
it's been so much gigs, so that does the business. But for the beginning guitarists, it's like
Practicing.
play slow. Don't start to play fast.
Okay.
And then the fastness comes through learning to play slow. So
Okay.
buy a metronome and do some exercises and play with the albums. That's what I always did when I was young, playing a lot with the CDs, kind of like band rehearsals
Okay.
with your favorite bands. And learning the songs with your own ear, it's really important
Okay.
for your musical evolution.
Okay, guys, who inspired you to be musicians? And who would you like to be live if it wasn't for the music? Like, if you weren't musicians, who would you be? Have you ever thought of that? Or was it like music from the very beginning and nothing else?
Well, that was always the goal, but I can think of a variety of things I could be like. I used to teach in elementary school, and it would be like really important thing to do for my like standards in life, or something like that. Something to do with people in general.
Okay. And who inspired you to join this path?
Well, all of like great songs and musicians and bands that I heard when I was a kid.
All right. And you, Marcus?
I always wanted to be a Paul Stanley when I was a kid, so I never
we've
made
been
it.
there. We've all been there.
So I didn't have any other goals. Still don't have. so stuck on this road.
All right. So, and to sum this up, like a few words of wisdom for your Russian fans, like.
Хорошо.
Хорошо?